Hey, and welcome to Finders Seekers,
where we take deep dives into shallow topics. I'm AJ, an actor that was once called The Talent.
And I'm Matt, a VFX professor that was once called Abstruse.
Speaking of Matt, today we're going to talk about trash, specifically trash cinema.
Now, the term trash cinema isn't necessarily about bad movies. They could be really, really, really bad movies.
We're talking movies like The Room, Manos, Hands of Fate, or Plan 9 from Outer Space that are so bad they go full circle and actually end up being really fun to watch.
Now, throughout most of the 20th century, audiences were periodically blessed with these so bad they're good films. But it seems that they've lost their popularity in the past 15 or so years.
Since The Room in 2002, there hasn't really been another trash classic, at least not in the ranks of Leprechaun or Troll 2.
Except Sharknado in 2013, but let's be real, if there's gonna be an exception, it's gonna be the movie where they show a shark in the ocean and claim it's downtown Los Angeles.
So our question today is, what happened to our favorite pieces of garbage? To answer that, first we need to unpack how movies used to be made, specifically, how friggin' hard it was.
Let's break it down. To get a movie into theaters, it used to need to go through 3 major steps: funding, production, and distribution.
Until the 1970s, it was almost impossible to get funding without the help of a major studio. Even an independent film like Star Wars had to get money from Fox.
When you finally made the movie, everything from effects to editing was mainly analog, making the process time-consuming and error-prone.
And then after all of that, and you had an honest-to-Jeebus movie, you still had to get it into theaters.
Now, before the advent of the internet, theaters were really the only place to see movies. Sure, you could rent a VHS, or if you're lucky, it might be playing on TV, which in the 70s was maybe 4 channels. Imagine only having 4 channels, and one of them only played 2 broke girls.
This sums up to the fact that there weren't nearly as many movies in theaters. Nowadays, it's all about competing for the box office. Is Transformers 18, Medea Finds the Allspark, gonna beat National Treasure 14, starring Nicolas Cage in a bunch of wigs?
To prove just how hard it was, in 1980, the number of films released a year in U.S. cinemas came out to a little over 100. In 2016, it was 750. Because there were so fewer films released, seeing a truly absurd film in theaters was an anomaly and in its own way celebrated.
Imagine this. It's 1978. Jimmy Carter is president. You just bought a gallon of gas for 68 cents. You survived Ted Bundy, Jonestown, The Hillside Strangler, Summer of Sam, and John Wayne Gacy.
What the was going on in 19...
I know, right? Going to the movies was a big night out. The last movie you saw was The Deer Hunter, and now the only other movie in theaters is Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
After the Herculean task of bringing a movie from idea to screen, that's what you get. It's stupid and weird, and it doesn't make any sense, and you can't help but love it.
So why doesn't this happen anymore? Is it because they just don't make good, bad movies the way they used to?
No, there are plenty of good, bad movies out there. But we are so inundated with content, bad movies just don't get the same notoriety they used to. If you have Amazon Prime, Netflix, and Hulu, you currently have access to 37,718 movies and television shows. With so much content, why would someone settle for watching a bad movie?
Plus, now that filmmaking is so much more accessible, there are far fewer gatekeepers to decide what gets made. I mean, that's great because now anyone can make a movie, but also anyone can make a movie.
In A Brave New World, Aldous Huxley said that truth would be drowned out in a sea of irrelevance. And on the Huxley-Orwell scale of depressing futures, we're definitely on Huxley's side.
With so much content being created, we're not just missing out on the bad movies, but legitimately good movies as well, to the point that people seriously need help deciding on what to watch. So much so that studios honestly believe that review aggregate sites like Rotten Tomatoes can make or break box office revenue.
We don't know the future of trash films, but with content growing exponentially, it doesn't look good.
On a personal note, with the talk of trash films, there's one iconic film that we haven't mentioned, The Toxic Avenger. And there's actually a scientific reason for that. It's a masterpiece, and Troma Studios deserves all the Oscars forever and ever and ever, and I love you, Lloyd Kaufman.
We can't say that.
I said it.
We can't say that.
I already said it. Comment down below if you have a favorite trash film, old or new. We're always looking for new ones.
And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much, and see you next time. I'm Matt.
And I'm looking for work.
Give us money, hire us.